All right. He goes in every game expecting to win. I'm not sure Lions fans over the years have gone into every game expecting to win, but there is a lot of hype about this team. We've known this for a long time. Though Jared Goff did say it, Luke. They didn't play a perfect game, but they still got the job done.
Yeah, and Jay, hats off to the Lions, and I don't want to ruin all the Lions fans' parade right now. They're 1-0. But that being said, they had a lot of bad football moments in this game. And to me, it's going to pay for them. You look here. I mean, we snap it off the tight end. You're playing Kansas City week 1. Like, you can't have these things. So I believe that was on first down. We get on the ball. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, 3rd down and 10. They run a little screen. We're trying too hard here. Now we fumble. Red zone fumble. You give up 3 points. Again, to me, that's going to cost you. And what happens? 2 huge chunk plays. I mean, this right here was an incredible throw by Mahomes. But then on top of that, they rushed to the line. It's almost like they had a tell. They knew they went to Tampa 2, and Mahomes knew exactly where he was going. And just like that, we've got a simple pivot route. Again, the Lions seemed like they were scrambling. It's wide open. We go. Again, you're looking here. 5 minutes left. You're up 1. This is how you start the drive.
Yeah.
4th down. You're kind of expecting something great. We get it batted down, and they only rush 4. My point is, and I'm not trying to take any moments of joy away from the Lions, but all week we've heard the Lions hype, the Lions are a top 10 team, the Lions are the NFC North favorites. And I agree with them, but then when you see this kind of football, you're just like, is the hype real? Is the hype? And that's where I'm tentative to really put my stamp of like, yo, this team is legit, because they play football like this. They had so many moments where they could have blown this game wide open.
Yep.
And again, I know I'm being tough. I understand that. I'm going to catch some heat from my Windsor people out there.
You're a longtime Lions fan ever since you were a kid, so you've got a stake in this.
They scored 2 offensive touchdowns. They had the pick 6, and one of them is on a drive that has a fake punt that's converted, which only one coach in the NFL named Dan Campbell has the you-know-what to make that call on his own 20. So, to me, it's a great win. They're 1-0, but they really got to clean their football up.
Kansas City Chiefs, you almost could give them an audible because they're missing 2 massive pieces of their team. Let's start with Travis Kelce. You said it, the tight end by committee situation was not terrible, but there's no way you're replacing Travis Kelce on the football field.
No, to me, when it's all said and done, Travis Kelce is a guy that might be considered the best of all time at that position. And I did find that today, when they're in desperation mode, we've seen time and time again, Kelce is a guy he goes to. And tonight, the committee just did not get it done. And it started with just simple drops. I mean, the main guy is Kadarius Toney. The pick 6 was a drop. The one we just watched was a drop.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they pretty much handed the game to the Lions on a silver platter with these drops. And I don't want to overreact here, Jay, but I might be hitting the panic button a little bit if I'm in Kansas City. I mean, you're at home, you season opener, and that's the performance you put in offensively. I mean, shout out to the Lions defense. Yeah. I got to say that. They played very well. But
Hutchinson's a beast, man.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
I was surprised with how bad that receiving core looked, without Travis Kelce.
And then you have Chris Jones in the stands, fist-bumping fans. It's just weird. One of the best defensive players in the game. The Niners get Nick Bosa done on Wednesday. You'd figure that the Chiefs would find some way to get this guy in the lineup, and they just don't. You think this kind of performance is exactly what Jones and his agents are looking for?
They've got to be. And, you look at it, and it was a bit of a strange scene to see a guy who'd be a leader. I'm sure he's kind of the heartbeat of that defense. The way he plays is ferocious.
Yeah.
To kind of be watching game 1 like, hey, what's up, everyone? Dapping everyone up in the stands. And I totally get where he's coming from. But I think right now this was a kind of a sobering moment for Kansas City where it's like, last year is last year.
Yeah. We
come out and lay an egg offensively. We don't get Chris Jones in the building. We'll get beat. And again, this game could have been much worse for them with the amount of mistakes they made. They got to find a way to get Chris Jones on the field, not dapping up fans. And they got to figure out a way either to get Travis Kelce healthy or get this receiving core back on track. I
mentioned Nick Bosa and his giant contract yesterday. His old Ohio State buddy, Joe Burrow, cashed in massively on Thursday. The Bengals QB is now the highest paid player in the National Football League. An incredible contract, 5 years, $275 million extension. He is, as I mentioned, highest paid in NFL history, record-breaking deal, $55 million a year, including over $219 million guaranteed. His new contract surpasses fellow 2020 draftee Justin Herbert, who signed his extension in July. I think the lesson is sign your extension later. Don't sign it earlier, because whatever young quarterback signs always ends up being the highest paid player in the National Football League. Just under $220 million in guaranteed money, as I mentioned. In the words of our stats guy, Hound Dog Harrison, not bad chump change. So he's the highest paid player in NFL history now, Luke. And I think we knew this was coming. How do you feel about the deal?
You know, I have mixed emotions. I'm happy for Joe Burrow. He seems like a great guy. I don't know him, but I mean, I always want to see guys get paid.
Yeah.
But where my head goes is, you know, if you're playing this position, and I did not play quarterback, and I did not sign $200 million deals, so I don't know what it's like. But if you're playing this position, to me, when you think of a quarterback, you don't think of the highest paid guy. You think of the Super Bowl winners. You know, you think of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. And there's so many quarterbacks that aren't as good as those two guys, but are great quarterbacks that have never won a Super Bowl. And as time goes on, you kind of forget about them.
Right.
So to me, when you get to this like crazy level of wealth, would you not think like, hey, it's not necessarily about me becoming the highest paid guy? Like that $20 million that they're going to save over Jalen Hurts in the 5 years, is that, you know, our number 2 receiver?
Right.
And that's where my head goes with this stuff, is as much as these guys want to be like, I got the biggest contract, at the end of the day, especially at that position, if you want to have the best legacy, no one talks about who's the highest paid guy. They talk about who's won the most Super Bowls. So that's where my mixed emotion goes, where I'm kind of like, you know, maybe if you sign for $250 and save $25 million, you should still be good financially.
You'd think.
You know, that is still $25 million. So, you know, I could be eating my words a little bit, but
good luck convincing the Players Association and your agent, right? Like it's more a trophy for the agent. Really,
exactly.
right.
But where my head goes is like get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm outrageously paid, and save for the team so that you can potentially, you know, be in the conversation with the Patrick Mahomes of being, hey, this guy everyone talked about last year after he won. Will he catch Brady? Will he be the best quarterback ever? That's where my head goes, is these big deals do handcuff your team to some degree.
I will say, if you're a fan of the Cincinnati Bengals and you went through all those years suffering, just having a player of this caliber on your team and knowing he's with you for the next few years.
1,000%.
Pretty exciting for you.
Yes, very.
Speaking of exciting, you joined us on Wednesday's show, and we asked you who you thought you'd win the Super Bowl this year. And then you run into a fan on Thursday, and he has a few things to say to you.
Yeah, it was a great experience for me. I was in a bike store in Oakville this morning, and a great fan said he watched the show every morning, full VO from Wheels on Oakville, okay? He looks at me and goes, hey, man, I was watching you and Jay this morning. I said, yeah. He goes, I agreed with almost everything you said, but you were kidding about the Jets, weren't you? And I said, I'm being dead serious. I still think he thinks I'm nuts. But he was a great guy, said he loves the show, and we'll see. I agree it is a hot take, but I'm one of those things, like, you know, you look at last year, everyone kind of, well, not was downplaying, but was like, hey, is Patrick Mahomes still got it? Is he the guy? I think something similar might happen with Aaron Rodgers this year.
You said it. New place, little
chip on his shoulder,
juice, chip on his shoulder. And as you said in Hard Knocks, he just looks like he's having fun again.
He does.
There's a lot of stuff he left behind in Green Bay, a lot of baggage.
Great term. And that's a scary man when he's having fun and slinging the pill around.
We are going to have a lot of fun after the Sunday Nighter because Luke is joining us once again. Maybe we'll get another shout out from Wheels on Oakville. Who knows? I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to this one. What do you think? Odds for the Sunday Nighter. Cowboys, Giants. Our friends at FanDuel have the odds. Dallas 3.5-point favorite over the G-Men. What are you thinking about this one, buddy?
I think it's going to be a great divisional game. I do think because the Eagles are so stout, we're overlooking how good this Cowboys team could be.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Cowboys are a very, very good football team. Big question mark this year. It's going to be Dak Prescott.
Man. It's weird. It feels like a make-or-break year, and it's Trey Lance who's looking over his shoulder. It's not like Joe Montana. You can catch all the action right here on TSN. We've got the pregame show at 7 Eastern, and then after the game, join Luke and myself For our show, we will break down that NFC East battle. They got my beard in there.
That's all
this year.
time right there. I love that.
I feel like it's a little better look than last year when I just looked like I was doing an impression of Jim Carrey in The Mask. Don't forget, our show follows every NFL primetime game this season.